2 more sleeps until I go home. And the part that I'm most nervous about is that first night. I'll likely have to stay in the city where I was living before I left. And it's a really, really busy neighborhood, and I fear that noise, just having to sleep with all that noise reverberating through my nervous system. And it'll be a long train ride, and then I'll get back late, and then maybe not have another good sleep, because I'll have to sleep on the train one night, and then maybe the next sleep won't be that great, and hopefully I can insure my car. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take an extra dose of hearty nutritional starting today, just to help my body navigate some of the extra stress of this transition. And yesterday I was feeling really sad to leave. I'll miss the quiet and the beauty and the people here. And I know I'll also be glad to be home and with my family and friends. So it's just a difficult transition. I remember before I left to come to California, I was really nervous and I almost felt like maybe I shouldn't be going, but I'm so glad that I did. And I am really glad to be going home. And I get waves of excitement of seeing my family and friends. I just know that it'll be a little bit difficult for my body to adjust to the different environment. And maybe it won't be, but I just really feel the implications of the possibility of just not transitioning well and then maybe going downhill or being really affected by other people. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know why I have a negative worry about it. And it's probably because worst case scenario, I end up back in the psych ward or worse than that. I don't know, but it probably won't be like that at all. I just have that fear. It's kind of like the brain thinking about worst case scenario to be prepared for that. But there's a lot of best case scenarios that I don't even know. So hopefully I can just abide in that. But it is stressful to go from one place to the other, especially when I've been away for so long. And I wrote an email to that arts festival I was supposed to perform in and say I don't think I can do it because I wanted to create something else to perform, but then I wouldn't feel good about doing that unless I got their approval. So that would be extra steps to be like, well, I'm going to create something, but I don't know what, and wait for it. And I thought maybe my brain would come up with something, but it hasn't, and I don't want to perform that comedy routine based on having a label of bipolar disorder. That's like taking so many steps backwards from what I've created for myself. But I do feel bad that I didn't tell them sooner. I guess I was hoping I would create something, but then I realized it's going to be enough pressure just transitioning back, let alone having this in my mind for the next 3 weeks that I need to create something to perform at this show. And then I also realized 10 minutes, that's so out of context from what I actually do on a near daily basis, which is talk to myself for half an hour to an hour or so. And 10 minutes in public, I feel, would just sort of confuse the energy of that. And just having so many people perceive it is like having so many mixed energies being directed at me. And I do sort of fear that other energy. And yeah, so I feel like just staying to myself and keeping to myself. And I won't be keeping to myself because I'll have lots of people to visit and catch up with, but not putting extra people and perceptions in the mix when I don't really have to. And again, I wish I would have realized this sooner instead of telling them kind of at the last moment when they have me lined up to perform this stand-up comedy. When I sent in my stand-up comedy video as an audition, it was probably shortly after I got to California, like 5 months ago. So I didn't realize that I'd be tapering off my meds and all of that. And maybe I would have been okay performing it when I got back had I still been on the meds, but I'm not, and I don't really want to identify with having that label and all that's implied in that. So yeah, I have a lot to talk about, and I'm running into technology issues. My 6-year-old mini Mac is jam full, and my phone is kind of full, and I need to upgrade my technology if I'm going to continue this conversation with myself. So we'll see how that goes too. So much to do when I get back home. I hope I can just pace myself. And I have to go, but I just wanted to check in because I haven't been doing videos because I'm in this immersive workshop and it's really good, but I'm feeling like stressed about packing at the same time and getting ready to go, and will I be able to carry all my stuff, or will I have to ship stuff back, or should I just leave a bunch of clothes here? We'll see what happens, but it's just a little bit stressful. I'll feel good again once I'm on the train and just relaxing and sitting there, and I'll have lots to do on the train. Maybe I'll make some videos on the train like I did on the way down. Today my computer says you haven't backed up your computer in 158 days. So it seems like I'll be away for 160 days. And once I cross that border, I'll just feel like I did it. I went to California, and I also tapered off meds, and maybe if I can just allow that to sink in, then whatever else unfolds is okay, and not really stressing about how quickly I get those other things done that I need to do. Oh, the practicalities of life. I just got back from my last trip to the beach, and I leave for home tomorrow, so less than 24 hours, and I will be on a train to home. And I am taking a very long train ride, 33 hours, and that's kind of crazy, but I find flying quite stressful, and the whole going through the airport, security and everything is a little stressful, whereas taking the train is just hop on the train. So it's a really long ride, but I have lots of stuff to do. Just integrate and sort of prepare myself for seeing my family and friends again. And so I went to the beach today, and it was really beautiful, and I went in the water twice and just said goodbye to the beach. And yesterday I was feeling really sad about leaving. I cried, and I wasn't really expecting to. Or that might have been the day before, I don't even remember. I'm sort of losing track of time. I was taking a course here this last week, and so I haven't really been talking to myself as much, and I kind of miss talking to myself. I think my brain is going into this weird mode. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a mode of not really talking to myself as much and not keeping that area of the brain going. And I learned a lot in the class, and I took a lot of notes, so I do want to talk about that at some point. I have lots to talk about, so I'm kind of looking forward to doing that again at some point. And I'm feeling kind of off because I bowed out of that festival I was supposed to perform my comedy routine in, just because that routine doesn't resonate with me. And then I talked about maybe creating something else, but I just don't really have the time, and to put that kind of pressure on myself right when I get back isn't really a good idea. But I haven't heard back from them yet, so I'm feeling like the anxiety of, crap, I kind of messed things up there, and I'm sure it's a lot to fix when there's like a lineup of performers and then all of a sudden one ducks out. There's a lot of details to fix, I'm sure, and I feel bad about that. But I'm feeling like I just want to be in the moment and not really go too many steps ahead of myself and not really put myself anywhere but the moment. And that's one of the things I like about this self-dialogue, is it's just something I do in the moment. And it's not about preparing for something or planning or practicing. It's just talking. So that's another reason why the performance didn't really feel congruent with the process that my brain is somewhat adapted to. And then doing something outside that could actually put me in a bit of a something, I don't know. And it's just kind of stressful. So I'm taking extra vitamin C and an extra dose of the hearty nutritionals right now to prepare myself for leaving. And I'm just getting packed up. There's my big bag. And I'm going to have to send my rollerblades back in a box. And then I have this bag with some of the books and papers I collected and all the extra meds that I never had to take. There's all my extra lithium, and I would have had to take all of that if I was taking all of it the whole time. And I could just throw it out, but I might just take it back just in case. Just in case what? I don't know. And then I just have to bring my hearty nutritionals and my little bit of personal stuff, and remember to grab the stuff from the bathroom, and I'll be gone. And something I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do an enema. And this is so I don't have to go number 2 too much on the train. And I have 2 of these, so I might actually do one on the train. I've never done an enema on the train. And that's definitely something a crazy person would do, is an enema on a long train ride. We'll see how that works out. So I'm going to go do that. And I have a lot of packing and tidying up to do, so I'm not sure if I'll do a video tonight, but I feel for my own wellness it would actually be good to do some videos soon. Probably on the train. So, one more sleep until I go home. It's been quite the journey. My last night of darkness. For some reason the moon hasn't been out. I can see the Milky Way. And there are more stars than ever. I'll miss the stars. The dark, the quiet. Last sleep. First, I need to take my 6 hearty nutritionals amino acids. It seems like a lot, but yesterday was actually 7 weeks without medication. usually sit for a few minutes to let it get down to my stomach. So then I don't lay down right away and it feels like it's wanting to creep back up a little bit. Good night.
My last eat. So I'm at the train station, and this is the station I got off at over 6 years ago now, when I entered into magic. And I got off the train and I stayed at that hostel across the way. But it now has a big fence around it because it's going to be torn down for development. And I have about an hour to wait until my train leaves. It's a really beautiful station.
As a transconscious person with acquired, highly sensitive personhood, I really like traveling by train. I just wait on the platform and I just hop on the train. No arriving 2 or 3 hours early, no security checks, no waiting for the airplane to take off, which I don't like. No getting on this tiny little airplane that's going to be flying up 30,000 feet in the air. And I can do it, I don't mind it, but when I have the time, I just like to go nice and slow. And there's lots of leg room. It's going to be a very nice ride. I downloaded some movies from Netflix and I subscribed to a 30-day trial of Kindle Unlimited, and I bought a book called 1000, number 1000 by Ramajesh or something. And so I'll read some of that. And I have access to Veronica Tagalva's book, or whatever her name is, through the Kindle Unlimited. So I might read some of that. I might try and organize some of my notes so when I go home I can talk about them. And I got some snacks for the train. I was thinking I might fast on the train, but I don't want to stress my body out any more than just the transition back home. And Hardy Nutritional said don't do anything that can be too shocking to the body, so I'll just continue to eat junk. And I also got this, 2 of them, and a bunch of these Raw Revolution bars. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite brand of bar, but they changed the packaging and they no longer sell it where I'm from, and they didn't have the flavor that I really like, which was cinnamon raisin. It basically tastes like a cinnamon bun, but it was a raw vegan bar. So I grabbed some of these, and I got one of this kind. And I have some water, because snacks on the train are kind of expensive. It's around $5 for a bag of chips and water. And for some reason I feel really thirsty on the train. I drink a lot of water. And last time on the way down I brought a bunch of food bars, but then I was craving salt and I didn't have any chips. So this time I'm prepared. I got my salt, I got my sweet, I got my juice, I got my water. And now it's just a matter of if I can carry all of this. I will have to get off the train and board the bus to Canada, and then get off the train with all my stuff at the border. And that's going to be heavy. And that'll be all she wrote. So I'm on my way back, and in less than a couple days I'll know if I will have done it, if I will have gone to California and reached my dream of getting back, and also reaching the dream of tapering off meds and seeing how that integration period goes. I really hope it all goes more than smoothly. The train is coming. I just talked to this guy, and he's going into pharmacy. And I told him that I tapered off my meds, and he told me to take them. If I take them, they'll help with the mania. Interesting.
Reservation. Rolling on to that 12:35 lunch reservation. Please join me in the parlor car dining area at this time. Please bring your reservation slip and your ticket stub if needed.
the one person I talked to on the train platform is studying pharmacology and wants to maybe be a psychiatrist. And I sort of told him, oh, that's interesting, because I just tapered off psychopharmaceuticals, and maybe I shouldn't have even said anything, because his response was, you should take the meds, or he just said, take the meds. And I don't know if that was a warning or a test or what. Interestingly enough, the first time I took the train to Santa Barbara 6 years ago, I was sitting next to a man nearly the whole way, and at the very end of the ride, he told me that he has bipolar disorder and that he takes the meds because his family wants him to, and he agreed that he needs to. And I'd never heard of this before. And then I got off the train, enjoyed 3 weeks in Santa Barbara, and then went back home, and then I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder a month later. Actually, I had heard about it from one person before. So I just find it interesting. I'm about to get on the train, and this guy's like, take the meds. And I feel like this is where all the context I've created for myself comes in handy. He even said, that runs in my family. I understand you perfectly. Take the meds. It helps with the mania. And he was very emphatic about it. Like almost like a hypnotizing, brainwashing statement. And not curious about how I told him I was taking a micronutrient and I'd been off meds for 7 weeks. And I said, I'm not going to take them again unless I'm thrown in the psych ward and put on them, and I have no choice. So that definitely felt a little fearful. It's almost like confronting just a little mini situation of somebody being like, take the meds, and someone who has no power to make me take them, and somebody who's just a stranger. But how's it going to feel when I tell people that I know, and they'll be thinking, oh my God, you're supposed to be taking those meds, in their head. And after we both realized we didn't resonate, me and that guy, we sort of said, well, good luck. So we'll see what happens. It might end up that I have to take them again. Not because I feel like I need them, but basically being forcibly put on them. It sort of arose in my mind this morning or last night that this whole thing has been iatrogenic illness. This whole 6 years has been iatrogenic illness. I had this transformational crisis, and then, by the way I was received and treated.
1:30 or 2 o'clock reservations to the dining car. 1:30 and 2 o'clock reservations to the dining car. Also 2:30 as well. 2:30, 2, and 1:30 to the dining car.
And by the way I was received and treated, it just indoctrinated me into that paradigm of lifelong medications unless I do everything within my power to get out of that. Because that first medication made me so much worse, and then that justified other stuff, and then I finally tried to get off them years later and it didn't work, and I ended back on all the meds. And so I do need to learn how to communicate that more powerfully, or if a stranger's going to tell me point blank, just take the meds, what are people I know going to tell me? And then that will cause some kind of rift in the relationship. This person, I'm never going to have to see them again. But if I tell someone that I have to see again, that's going to come into the interaction. And I did tell somebody before I left that didn't know. Only 2 people or 3 people there knew that I was tapering. And there was a 4th person that didn't know. And I told them. And they were happy for me. So, yeah, I think I will take that as a little bit of a warning. Be careful who you tell, because I told that person because there was no real risk involved. The biggest risk would have been that I ended up sitting beside him on the train, but that didn't happen, so my nervous system was meeting that moment and kind of testing it out. And I got an email back from that arts festival that I was supposed to perform in, and they said, no worries, and that is good news, so I don't have to worry about that. So really, I'm free. I could go back to one of my casual jobs in a month or so. But other than that, I'm pretty free right now. It's kind of foggy and smoky outside because there's been some fires here. It could just be fog. So maybe I'll spend a little bit of time thinking about who I might want to tell and how, and maybe no one, maybe never. I did reach my goal of having a good California tan when I go back, though I am a little bit out of shape right now and weak. And I did eat a lot of food at this course that I was taking this past week. So I'm feeling a little heavy in that regard. When I go home, I hope to work on my diet a little more and talk to myself a lot. Just that one interaction with that person, talking to someone who doesn't understand the conversations that I've had with myself for hundreds of hours. Yet, at the same time, that's still really fragile because so many people would just come with their program memes of take the meds, take the meds, take the meds. So easy for someone to say who hasn't taken them before. So easy to say, not easy to take, very difficult to come off of. When I get back, I want to donate blood.
See, Claire, there it is. Not have to be ridiculous. 1%. You can see it in here. I mean, it's like.
Taking a 33-hour train ride is a good idea until the train hits a car. Yes, that literally just happened.
I'm gonna be late.
So apparently the person is okay. They actually got out of the car after it got hit and flipped over. I didn't see anything, so I really don't know. But I felt the train hit something. And then we came to a stop a period of time later, just a short period of time later. We've been here for probably half an hour, and I really don't know how long it's going to take before we get going. But note to self, don't cross when there are those little bars coming down and the flashing lights. So there needs to be an investigation through the train company and through the police, and the locomotive's damaged. So yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. And my throat's starting to hurt, so this journey home is a gong show.
Okay.
Now I can see why people fly. So there needs to be a repair crew, an investigation crew. I will probably miss my connecting bus. I don't know if the bus waits because the lady who was hit by the train died. It's difficult to imagine someone breathing and driving one moment and dead the next. And the shock of the realization before impact. We're on our way after that sad tragedy. So I'm off stretching my legs. Pretty shocking turn of events. One wouldn't want to argue with this thing. I'm practicing this voiceover thing instead of just having the scenery. I'm talking in the background after the fact. And I was just mentioning that I want to donate blood when I'm back home. And right after I said that, that's when the train hit that car and killed that woman. So I hope when I donate blood, it will save someone's life who stands a chance. And also, it'll be the first time I'm ever able to donate clean blood. The other times that I've donated, maybe up to 5 times, I had lithium and Zoloft and maybe trazodone in my system. But they still took my blood. It was still acceptable, but this will be clean blood given to someone who needs it. So I'm happy about that. And my throat feels a bit funny, so I think my voice sounds a little bit strange. This part of the trip has been really beautiful through the mountains. I'm starting to recognize the scenery as more like home the further north that we go. And seeing Mount Shasta was so beautiful. I've taken this trip 2 other times, 2 other 2-way trips, and I never saw Mount Shasta because I think when we went by it, it was still dark. But since the train was delayed, I got to see it, and it's really immense and beautiful, awe-inspiring. I've been reading some of the book Stealing Fire. I bought it a while ago on my iBooks app, and it's actually quite good. It really describes so many of the characteristics and traits that come online in so-called mania. To me, it's talking about the same thing, so I'll definitely investigate that deeper at some point. Not sure when. So much to investigate. I would definitely recommend reading it and just seeing if there are parallels to what we've experienced in those states. And they unfold it and make it sound all wonderful for people who consciously try to get into flow, but if some kind of extreme flow happens just by the process of the universe unfolding through us, then, it's a mental illness. So I don't know about that. I really, really don't. got home and I just crossed the border and did my bracelet removal ceremony and put in my regular SIM card. I'm home. I did it. Good morning. It's my first morning back home and my first words of the morning. I can hear the cars buzzing outside, and I wonder, why is this picture on the wall? I'm going to see if I can find some shampoo and have a shower. This is my I'm Home celebratory juice. I did it.